and working with the airlines, and we have to have the airlines' cooperation in what we're doing, talking to them about how they schedule their flights.
Good.
So they don't schedule them all at the same time. You have all that congestion.
Yes.
You know, we have, believe it or not, we have 950,000 departures a year is how many planes are taken off. And on a busy day, we'll have 275,000 people going through the terminal in one day. So it's like a city unto itself. And things can change as you're going forward. The weather can change. And so what you need to do is make sure you have a program where you can react to things that happen. I mean, when everything is smooth, like today's a beautiful sunshiny day, everything is nice and everything is going well and we don't have any problems. But it's not only what happens in Atlanta. Like, for example, we have all the flights to New York City. Well, if the New York City flights get delayed for some reason because of a snowstorm in New York City, that impacts what happens here in Atlanta. And the same thing is true in Chicago and Dallas and other major cities in the country, because people are flying and making connections through here to go to the other cities. So you have to be able to watch that and be prepared for those delays and then have action plan in place. For example, if people find themselves staying here overnight, we've got to make sure that we have the food concessions open for them so they can get something to eat if they need or something to drink, and they can and wait, because those are the irregular operations. When everything runs smoothly, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's easier. But when you have the irregular operations is when you have to be able to react to those.
Right.
And the other thing for our future now, we've reached a point when we open the new international terminal next year, that we're going to be trying to maintain our facilities. This terminal building that we're in right now was built in 1980.
Okay.
So it's 31 years old.
That's right.
They start getting old, and some of the concourses are that old. And when you look at the transportation mall, where the trains that are going back and forth and the moving sidewalks. So we've got to get into a position, what we call asset management going forward, maintaining the sustainability of the airport and making sure things don't break down. So we do proactive maintenance and not reactive maintenance.
Right.
So that's what we're working on now. In fact, we've created a new department within our city that we're calling asset management.
Okay.
So they'll prepare ourselves, you know, because as facilities get older, they require more maintenance. You've got to change out the air conditioning, change out the lighting systems, do things like that. Like in the parking garage, we're having a project going on right now to change the lighting, to have energy efficient lighting system that provides the highest level of light at the lowest possible cost while maintaining energy. So it's important that we reduce the impacts on the community. We just bought 18 compressed natural gas buses to shuttle people to the parking lots. Okay. We want to convert our fleet to compressed natural gas as quickly as we can.
That's quite
Here again,
impressive, yeah.
for the environment around us, so that we can protect that environment as we move forward. And it's very important to Mayor Reed that we're sustainable and that we have ourselves to get as much sustainability as possible. And so we're working on that too.
That is quite impressive. They say change is the only constant thing in life, and growth is a recession. And this is exactly what you've mentioned that really make people that have actually tasted the service at the airport, and that the best is yet to come. Now, the best is yet to come in those areas, and I believe that with all these introductions, innovations, and everything, you want to sustain the credibility and the standard. Now, let us look into the area of the employees. You are the general manager of the airport. On easy light, they hear that we are the crown, but you are already a man that has been tested, and you know what you want. And you have a lieutenants that easily maintain and make sure that things work on very well. Let's talk about it. How many employees do you have at this airport now?
We have just over 1,000 that work directly for me. Over and above that, we have the police and fire, another couple of hundred people. And then, of course, we have a lot of contract folks that work for us, the janitorial services that maintain things, some of the landscaping contracts. So it's a matter of, I recognize that the most important and most valuable asset that I have are the employees that work for me.
Yes.
They are the ones that make things happen.
That's true.
And so you have to take care of your employees. You have to do what you can do to keep their morale as high as possible. So the employees are committed to what they're doing. They just don't come to work. They come to work because they want to come here and enjoy what they're doing. And they're committed to the airport, and they're committed to the city of Atlanta. And that's the atmosphere that we try to create. And by creating that atmosphere, we get a return on our investment because the employees work harder and they're dedicated and they care. We have a tremendous training program out here. We actually go out and train not just the employees that work for me directly, but we train the concessionaire employees on customer service.
Yes.
We train the airline employees on customer service and the police and fire to get that thought pattern across to all of the employees that work out here. You need to take care of the customers.
Yes.
Because the customer service is what we're all about. And so when you can go even to the person that's selling you a hot dog, all the way up to the pilot that's flying the airplane, all of us have a role that we play.
That's true.
And we have to make sure that we're all, treat our employees well, treat employees with dignity and respect. They deserve that. Whether they're a maintenance worker or they're the highest level employee, we're all the same. We're all part of a family, and we just want to make sure we do it jointly and do it together.
Okay, that's a good point. Now, information, they say, is power. When people come to the airport, they want adequate information about what is going on, adequate information about their flight, and also instructions.
Yeah.
How do you manage this area?
Yeah.
And who are the components of people that makes these things happen, and how do they work in mutual collaboration with you?
Working with the people again, we'll walk around. I mean, the wayfinding system you're talking about, you've got to have signs to tell people where they're going. From the minute they drive on the airport, when they're driving on the airport, until they get into the terminal, then they can find signs that tell them that they need, here's where my gate is, but they also need to know where the restrooms are.
That's true.
They need to know where baggage claim is. They need to know where the ticketing is. They need to know how to get down to the transportation mall. So our number one goal is anytime a person is anywhere in the airport, they can look up and see a sign that will tell them where they need to go. And I think that's the important part of the signage and the graphics program, and having the flight information display screens. Because they want to look up at the screen and say, oh, I'm flying on a Delta flight to Tampa. Which gate do I have to go out of? That will tell you up there where you're going. So we make sure we keep plenty of flight information display systems out there. We keep the wayfinding system, is what it's called, to tell you how to get around. We have a PA system. If someone they can make announcements that something is closed down. If we try to keep our website up too. We have a website that'll tell you how long the wait time is at the security checkpoints. And our goal is to keep the wait time averaging at 10 minutes most of the time, but never above 20 minutes. On the peak times, we still want to keep it below 20 minutes. So that way the customer, when they're coming to the airport, they know that if they get here an hour before, they'll have time to get through security, they'll have time to get to the gate, and the airlines like you at the gate with a half an hour before the flight departs if possible. So you try to get here, if you get here an hour and a half early, it's very easy for you to get through this whole system.
Okay. Well, I think the transition at the airport, especially what is going on at the Hartsfield Jackson Airport now, is enormous. You're looking at opening the 5th terminal, the international terminal, which is going to be dedicated in 2012.
In the spring of 2012.
In the spring of 2012. That will bring enormous traffic again to the airport here. Now, if we look into the development over the years, with all this upsurge, the international terminal, which is going to open again, and also with what you have got already. In terms of your gross revenue of what you have seen before, what do you anticipate to be the gross revenue of this airport?
Well, we're growing right now. It's just over $400 million on revenues.
Yes.
And in addition to that, we get federal grants and we get passenger facility charges. So we have a program in place. We have shown, and we have we borrow our own money. We have outstanding debt. We want to make sure we meet our coverage requirements. So we actually have a financial plan that takes us out to the year 2020 right now. And then we can even go beyond that period of 2020. But you mentioned the international terminal, and you talked about signs. I was going to focus something that your viewers need to know. When that new international terminal opens, you will come into the airport from a different freeway. You actually, today, when you came to the airport, you came out on 85. When you go to the new Maynard H. Jackson International Terminal, you'll be on 75.
On 75, okay.
So you'll come in off 75. So what we got to do is make sure that we have signs all over the freeways telling people where to go.
Okay.
We actually anticipate it'll cost us $10 million to change the signage program to get people directed to the right place so when they come out. So then we'll have to not only build the international terminal, we have to build parking out there. We'll open, on opening day, we'll have 3,600 parking spaces. That'll go up to 7,500 parking spaces within a few years. A new roadway system coming in. So it's just kind of that decision point. So if you're coming out here from downtown Atlanta, when you're driving out and once you get south of Interstate 20, there's signs that say Interstate 75, 85. So 85 brings you here, 75 there.
Takes you to the international.
So we have to tell people that. And it's going to be a learning process for our customers. The other good thing about the international terminal, the new one, is when you come back and you go through customs and immigration, you don't have to recheck your bag. So you'll be able to go right out in the front, get in your taxi cab and go away, or go to your parking garage or wherever you are. So it'll make that transition very quick. Now, if for some reason the passenger goes to the wrong terminal, we will have a shuttle bus that will take people back and forth. And it's only a 10-minute ride, so it's not a big deal. But once people learn the process, and here again, if you follow the signs, it'll tell you how to get there. But you know, we're all creatures of habit.
Yes, I know.
You know, we've done this all our life, so that's what I'm going to do today. So we got to re-educate the users of the airport, and that's going to be our goal. And I know I've talked with Mayor Reed about this quite a bit, and he's certainly on board with what we're doing, and he's helping us to get this message out. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, I think it's a great airport make great cities. What you're able to call, you demystify traffic. And that's exactly what makes the passenger to be very happy and joyful. Going to the international take 75, going to the domestic take 85. Now, if we look into what you are spending, you say you're going to spend about 10 million.
Just on signs.
On the signs alone. What is the anticipated benefits in your own calculation that would bring something circle or maybe make the spending justifiable? What do you think in the next, your projection for the next 5 years?
I think what it'll do, it allows us the opportunity to have more international flights. It allows those people that take those flights to have a directional program, a signage program that gets them to where they want to go. And it allows all of the airlines, the foreign flag carriers, as well as the domestic carriers, Delta Airlines and the others that are flying, an opportunity to have more international flights. And right now we have service to 60 cities outside the United States, international cities.
60 cities?
60 cities in 40 countries. We want to see that grow, and that'll grow a lot. Within the United States, we have nonstop service to 150 cities. So that's why we're one of the busiest airports in the world. We are the busiest because we have so much air service opportunity, and you have so many people that use Atlanta to make a connection to get on another flight and to go internationally. And so that's why the focus is on the international terminal to allow them to grow. We're going to extend, we're in the process of extending one of our longest runways to make it a little bit longer so the flights can go further. You know, we have 5 runways now, 5 active runways, which is very, very good. And we're going to do a master plan too. We're going to take our master plan and update it. The last time the master plan was done here was 1999. So this year we have a request for a proposal on the streets. We're going to hire a consultant to come in and help us with where we're going to be 20 years from now, where we're going to be 30 years from now, to help us plan for that so we know, do we need another runway? Do we need more concourses and gates? And where do we build them if we need them? And this master plan is going to lay that all out for us as we're going forward into the future. And you talked about the future. I worry about the future more than I worry about today.
Correct.
Because that's what our job has got to be, to help people in the future. You know, the day-to-day operations, they're handled very well.
Okay. This is a very good point you made here. You know, international flight is the key. And again, I want to say good night, America, and good morning, Africa. Already that is happening now. Leaving at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in the evening and getting to Johannesburg in the morning.